Next up, we've got Mark Tehrani. Mark's the founder of CyberSeQ. We're also very lucky to have him here at Edinburgh Napier in our research group. He's doing some fantastic, really interesting applied research. So again, we're going to see some nitty gritty, and we're going to be looking at quantum computing, post-quantum cryptography and quantum machine learning for more kind of cybersecurity. Thanks. Give any more away.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm truly honored. My name is Mark. I'm going to give you a short story about entropy in two different genres. And if I can have this slide. Yeah. Here. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, perfect. So the first story, let's first, give you an anatomy of the story, because this happens in all the stories from Harry Potter to national security, defenders, CISOs, people like Amit, anyone, authorities who are making, our world better and safer. So they always start with, a normal world like current cryptographic environment. And then there are some mentors. For example, someone will come and tell, okay, there is a Q-day. Quantum computers will come within the next 5 years, and you will see RSA and ECC will be broken. And therefore, they have to leave the familiar world of the current known cryptography and enter a realm of challenge. So there are a lot of trial and failures, and today I'm intending to give you one of the bad things that should not happen as a story. But there are more unknowns in the migration and the global migration from the current cryptography to post-quantum cryptography that we will learn over the time. So then the growth and new skills will happen, and also there are some challenge for deaths and rebirths. That's the very low point that the hero must confront their limits and learn very transformative lessons. Revelation happened as a moment that a clarity or transformation will occur, and the hero make peace with the past failures and mistakes as atonement. And finally, with new gain, knowledge and power and insight, they will come back to the normal situation. From Harry Potter to all who are intending to migrate to post-quantum cryptography, to all entrepreneurs and academics, everyone who is taking a journey, this will be the normal thing. So my name is Mark. As I mentioned, I'm a joint professor at George Washington University teaching cybersecurity analytics. I'm honored to research under supervision of Professor Bill on quantum cybersecurity, and also founder of CyberSeQ. So let's first see what is entropy and why it matters a lot to make this story meaningful. So historically, entropy started in 19th century with a small thesis of Sadi Carnot and Rolf Clausius, that they developed a classic view of entropy. That was in thermodynamics ground, so it was about the study and entropy as a heat. And they provided the first definition, and then Boltzmann tried to define that in the context of statistical mechanics. In mid 20th century, Shannon tried to define it in the context of information theory and defined that as the measure of uncertainty. And in recent years, or in modern era, we have better definitions that explain that entropy is very dependent to the observer and subjective, which means that relative to the knowledge or relative to the level of ignorance to details, you may have different understanding from the entropy. So with that said, let's also have a little bit of practical observation. So you can see on the right-hand side that we don't know what is happening really. We just try in that matrix to find the dots. So this is the Shannon understanding and proposal for entropy. On the other side, in the left-hand side, you can see Alice. Alice cannot see the objects. She has a blur vision. Therefore, classify things as some sort of color matching. And then, it could happen also for Bob, that he can see things very well, but he's colorblind, so he sorts things based on their shapes. So there is entropy here, but observer knowledge and goal can change the context and the meaning here. So that's very important topic. That is the introduction to our story and our heroes. So with that said, our heroes now have to move to post-quantum cryptography. This is now decided by different authorities and different standards, and different school of thought in cryptography introduced hash-based cryptography, code-based cryptography, multivariate cryptography, lattice-based cryptography, and isogeny-based as the foundation to move for key exchange and digital signature. So with these type of algorithms, we have also right now a good level of implementation. We have open source implementation at FIPS 140-3. So this is really looks ready for migration. Organizations, I've taken this from another slide, but organizations also gained agreement about what is acceptable as a common understanding, or if they have a different understanding or different recommendations for their own jurisdiction. So you can see for ML-Chem and MLDSA, almost everyone in the UK, US, EU has gained a common understanding that is a reliable implementation for migration to post-quantum cryptography. And this is why I'm going to show you how ML-Chem is very sensitive to that assumptions of entropy. So future cryptography will be something like this. You're not anymore seeing a simple algorithm, but you will see a hybrid algorithm like TLS, and then ECDH and Kyber, and then RSA dilithium. So this will be a hybrid type of cryptography that we will use it to migrate for a period of time. So dilithium for digital signature and Kyber for key exchange. And still, we will deal with symmetric cryptographic algorithm like AES and SHA. So it looks very convincing, very strong, well-reviewed, and also reliable for migration. We have also good standards. So in our standard model right now, you can see NIST has provided a good standard for FIPS 204 for digital signature standard, and also 203 for key encapsulation, and also 205 for also stateless hash-based digital signature. National security organizations also can use ML-Chem. And this is also recently published by NSA. We are expecting to have also another standard as FIPS 206, as HQC, which is a code-based candidate, as fifth post-quantum standard by NIST. Europe NISA April 2025 also endorsed all of them. So this is a global standard right now for the Western world. But as I mentioned, during your journey, you will see some things that could bring your normal life to the challenge of learning and improvement. And here is that challenging thing. When you go to, for example, ML-Chem 203, you will see a list of 21 algorithms. The first three is not important. They are example of using that algorithms. But the rest, specifically algorithm 16, and also algorithm 21 and 19 and 18, They all are relying on random numbers that are hidden from the eyes of the end user. End user will not see those random numbers. And it's quite important that those random numbers are generated in the correct way with good entropy. Otherwise, everything that we may do, for example, Amit explained that we will have a good access control list and classification. We will have a good role-based access policy, attribute-based access policy, a lot of ephemeral keys generated with a time period, and then a lot of hurdles to manage all the keys. And we are well convinced that the system is well protected. But if someone can alter those random numbers with managed entropy or in a subjective way that from our perspective is very reliable, but from their perspective is predictable, then the whole cryptography is gone. So how do we evaluate those random numbers? For example, in MLChem, we have 3 of them. In digital signature algorithms, PER, we have 1 of them. We have standards. Of course, we have one standard, as you can see, SP898. This standard just focuses on deterministic bit random number generators. And then we have other standards that focus on source of entropy, reliable source of entropy, which is SP890B. And we have a draft offered on 2024 that covers both of them. So it's an end-to-end standard. You can see also we have documents or standards for a statistical pipeline to evaluate the randomness, either pseudo-randomness or true randomness. So we will have a lot of tests to become confident if the random number is really random and if the source of entropy is reliable enough or not. We can see also Quantinuum, one of the brands who offers quantum computers, recently published a paper about certifiability of quantum random numbers. So in this paper, they have proved that it is possible to distinguish between 2 different random numbers if this is a true quantum and honest quantum source, or it is not, and it is a simulated one. So this is the subject of this paper. So what I'm intending to say is that in this journey of migration, we have this kind of traps. And you have to fix it. And quantum would be an opportunity. So this is the good part. I'm not going to explain about Q-Day. So the quantum we have different type of quantum computers at the current time. I'm going to show you at least 1 of them, but also you can see 4 of them right now. But we have superconducting qubits, like what Google and IBM has provided. They are high-speed, scalable, and accessible. Photonic qubits that they are working on room temperature operation, neural atom qubits, and like Quora, and also topological qubits that Microsoft has recently introduced, and also trapped ion, like IonQ as a good example of that. So these computers now are accessible for us. So this is the 2nd time. I hope the 3rd time I learn my lesson and put it here. So with these quantum computers, let me show you, for example, here, the environment of Microsoft Azure that gives you these quantum computers accessible. So you can go to providers and you can see, for example, IonQ, Quantinuum, and Rigetti right now are accessible. You can also add Pascal. This is another quantum computer which is accessible. One thing that I'd like to show, and this is the reason that I have not yet upgrade, for example, IonQ, is the price. You can see, for example, 25,000 per month is the price. Or let's go to Rigetti and try to upgrade it. This one is better, but it is $1 per second, $1.30 per second. This is important that we bring this technology here in Scotland and make it accessible for research. Of course, you can receive always some research credit from Microsoft, but this will be very limited, for example, for a very limited number of runs. So with that said, quantum computers right now are available. You can try to program them with Q-Sharp or with Qiskit or with CyberSeQ. CyberSeQ is offered by Google. Qiskit is an open source. IBM is taking a lot of care about that. And Q-Sharp is offered by Microsoft. So you can go, for example, in this Quantinuum. The reason I've selected the Quantinuum because it offers you a free credit. You can test it. So you can make a free Azure account, make a free Quantinuum space, and try to work with that. When you do that, you have the opportunity to make a workspace. So your workspace will be also accessible from Colab or your Jupyter notebook. So you can go, for example, in access key and receive your details and put this information in secure way in other locations like Colab and run that on your Colab environment. So on this example that I'm intending to show you, we are going to run a very simple circuit. So I connect to this workspace, and then I receive the list of available quantum computers right now. You can see IonQ simulator and IonQ quantum processor unit ARIA 1 and 2, and also Quantinuum's both simulators and Rigetti simulator and quantum processor units are available right now to me, which means that I have access to 20 qubits to 56 qubits. I can run any algorithm on this setup. So in the current state, we have to design a circuit. And for example, here, this circuit has one simple qubit, one Hadamard gate, and then the measurement. And then you can shoot that to a quantum computer somewhere in the US. You will receive a job ID, and then you can do the measurement and see the result of your computation. So with that said, let's show you how we manage this. For example, let's assume this is trust for future, the name of circuit. And right now it is 1447. I run this circuit and I submit the job. So we expect that our job say in a queue like this. So let me refresh this. And then when the computation is done, we receive the result back. So this is our circuit. It is successfully executed on this simulator at this machine. And we have the results right now. We can see the details of the execution time, submission time, parameters, and also we can have estimation about the cost here because it was over the simulator. We do not have a big cost. So quantum computers right now are available. That's the whole message. And also the quantum threat is available, but we are going to show you the opportunity right now. So the opportunity here, let's come back to the presentation. The opportunity here is that we can generate a quantum random number. And quantum random numbers can fix that problem I said earlier. So we have 3 random numbers that hiddenly and behind the scene are consumed and recommended by standards and accepted globally. And quantum random numbers can really fix that problem. This would be something like this. For example, here, again, in that environment, because of the nature of quantum computation right now is very decentralized, and it takes a lot of time. I run this algorithm on simulator AER simulator, which is not the machine that I shoot the circuit, somewhere in the US. So this will be fast. So I run this code. This code generates a 32-byte random number, but this time over AER, not on continuum. For example, I need to have 5 numbers because we have to be very careful about the cost, size, time. It asks first if this is an acceptable size and cost. So I accept it. And then we will have those quantum random numbers. So with this, we can really fix that problem. And here is the good news. Quantum computers may take 5 years to 10 years to become commercially available and be universally reliable to do all hard problems. And this is, as you can see, a big timeline. We are expecting to see in the next 4 years high-performance computing, and then we are expecting to, in the 5 to 6 years, come out from noisy intermediate-scale quantum computers and start fault-tolerant quantum computers era, which we call it post-Q. And then from that stage, we receive 10,000 qubits, 100,000 qubits, and more, and have better and more reliable, commercially available quantum computers. So there are a lot of barriers, and we don't need to wait all of these barriers to be resolved to use quantum random number generators, because it is already available, and we can use them as I showed you. So the solution works in this way. You will make a chaotic seed. You fit that chaotic seed to a quantum circuit. This is a sample design that I offered there. And then the quantum random numbers will be integrated in your implementation. So if, for example, our hero, I use Amit this time. If our hero wants to share the keys and he wants to use post-quantum cryptography enabled TLS, he can be confident that the subjective entropy and the seed of those random numbers are not predictable, because one side can see that very reliable and very random, but the other side may have superior knowledge to then decrypt the whole algorithm. So I'm not taking your time about the mathematics of that. You will see that in a paper. I have the honor to show this for a very recent time, because I showed this a few days ago in Luxembourg, that we have a demonstrator for you. If you like, please scan this QR code. And we are very friendly with GDPR, CCPA, GDPR UK, any type of data protection regimes globally. So if you scan that one, you will see such a demonstrator, Quantum Enhanced MLChem. This is developed in a joint activity with Quantum Brilliance and us as CyberSeQ. Quantum Brilliance is offering a new type of quantum computer which works on room temperature. It is very scalable. It could be very small size. And when you use that demonstrator, for example, here, when you put your email here, if you like, you can change the message or anything and accept the privacy consent and then send it, you will receive a message that will have 2 PDF. One PDF acts in this way, that between this application and the server will be a key exchange using MLChem, and that MLChem exchange key will be used as the key for symmetric cryptography. So you will receive an encrypted message and also a digital signature. It takes time for those who are using Outlook, but those who are using, for example, Yahoo or Gmail may receive it very quickly. So this is empowered over a data center called Meluxina in Luxembourg. And the random numbers are generated with quantum brilliance. As I mentioned, it's another quantum startup with the first round of $52 million raised. And they already generated some QPUs in Germany and also Australia, UK, also US and Luxembourg. And we use those random numbers in this demonstrator to show how this works. If you want to learn more about this process, a PDF, the second PDF explains a sequence diagram, but the sequence diagram doesn't explain the true story of everything. So you can fill this request for a pilot. This is, there is no obligation to run the pilot, but you can receive more information, and we will contact you based on this. You can just request post-quantum cryptography part, or you can request post-quantum cryptography plus quantum randomness, or just quantum randomness, and send us a letter of interest to learn more about this. So this is the first story. There is no obligation. This is the way that also you can help us as a startup. So if you like, request such a letter of interest and demonstration session, we will show you how this works. There is no obligation to continue the process if this is not interesting or at the current timeline or plan from your side. So with this, I hope most of you could receive the email, but if you have not received that, it takes a little bit time for some of you. With that demonstrator, the CyberSeQ, our product, can offer also something more. This part is just about the quantum randomness for post-quantum migration, but in demonstrator, we will show you how AI-enabled refactoring also can help you to refactor to and migrate to post-quantum cryptography without being worried about legacy systems or different coding language, or even without knowing the cryptographic architecture. Because all of us, up to now, at least for one login, one email, one registration, used at least 3 times symmetric and asymmetric cryptography. So it's very hidden. We can just simply say, what's cryptography? But it is it's a tool to help you to find the dependency graph and learn about your cryptographic architecture or your suppliers. This is the first story that we hope that our hero, before going to that challenging part, can use it and not be trapped in subjective entropy that could break the cryptography. The second story is about $300,000 to $400,000 of loss per hour of downtime. This happens in type of attacks like fast flux or domain generation botnets. These are type of botnets that the adversary can make a lot of random domains. Therefore, the botmaster can hide their still see adversarial infrastructure behind those random domains, and therefore you cannot find the real IPs, and they can attack you. We did a research. Professor Bill also supervised that research. So we tested that if quantum machine learning can help us to detect botnets or DJ botnets or domain-generated botnets. So this is surprisingly, again, is very related to entropy, because to answer this question that in what circumstances hybrid quantum binary classifiers achieve comparable or superior performance to a traditional machine learning model for this problem, we will see the dataset is again full of entropy. You have a lot of algorithmically generated domains that the algorithm must be able to detect them. And the good news here is another opportunity of quantum computers, that with right setup, they can detect or outperform even the current machine learning algorithms. To do that, you need to first somehow make that architecture stable, because you observe there is a lag between the job that you submit, the machine that will process that, and then the response you will receive. And there is a big network and a lot of sessions and a lot of networking that you have to keep it stable. So we made this experiment, and in this experiment, we try to learn how quantum machine learning can help us to solve this problem. As you can see in machine learning, we have to find the minimum loss. What is loss? Let's demystify those formulas. All of them are same. All of them are showing just one simple concept. In the context of supervised learning, which means that you know the labels, you have a reality called y and you have a prediction called fx. There are two options. You predict something right or wrong. So if you just compare the prediction vs reality, you can find something as loss, and you want the sum of all of these losses be the minimum, possible minimum. So the machine learning algorithm indeed is to search for all functions that can give you the minimum loss or minimum deviation between prediction and the reality. So quantum computers can be used in three forms. The first form is to use quantum optimizers, or the minimization algorithm is something based on quantum computing. The second approach is that you use different type of algorithms that can find those F based on quantum computation. The last is to find the new format for the data and new loss function for the data. So these are the three possibilities. We tested that. I'm not taking your time about this, but we made a new type of algorithm called quantum Hafting tree classifier. And with that, we could outperform normal machine learning. So for example, here you can see the normal machine learning cannot achieve more than 71% in terms of accuracy, but after a few rounds, the quantum version can achieve up to 100% accuracy. So this is the second good news about quantum machine learning and the opportunities that quantum can offer you. You can see still another demonstrator. This is also another demonstrator, but this will give you also a taste about the future SIEMs. SIEM stands for Security Information Event Management System. And in future SIEM, you will see that we have some part that quantum machine learning algorithm, like quantum support vector machine or quantum neural network, can be added to your arsenal for machine learning. And therefore, you can start to monitor the events and also detect those events that are suspicious from your perspective. So with that said, I just want to bring this journey to an end, and two stories about how the quantum machines can help you, and take some questions. Please, if you like, let me know what I can explain for you better.
Threat actors using quantum, how close do you think they are? Have a lot of money.
Can you please repeat the question?
So in the wild, threat actors using quantum services. These services are all available, yes, online. Anyone that's got a credit card.
So the question is that when actors or adversaries can use the quantum computers to bring a risk to, for example, financial sectors. Nation-state players are super different from normal threat actors. So if I understood the question correctly, we have to just focus on nation-state sponsored adversaries. And there are a lot of secrecy. You have to develop a theory and then search for evidences if they could achieve, based on those evidences, to quantum supremacy. And in that context, I guess, at least for RSA 2048, we expect between 2028 and 2033, adversaries could manage to break it with some sort of quantum computation capacity. And this is also probably the reason that all authorities have decided that by January 2030, we have a good migration to the new post-quantum cryptography. But if this is something that, for example, a hacking group in somewhere in Asia can take it as a supplier and use it, I am skeptical that this will become that cheap and that available for those kind of threat vectors. I cannot hear you, sorry.
Cybercrime's got the third largest GDP in the world. So they have a lot of money.
Can you please help me also to understand better the question or the comment?
Cyber criminals have a lot of money.
In terms of the investment for achieving to this? So at the current time, if the concept is about, the level of effort and level of resources that someone must devote to achieve to this level, I have to say that whatsoever we have seen that US offered in terms of number of qubits or depth of circuit or better design or error correction, also Chinese could offer with a little bit difference. For example, if they have offered, for example, 433 qubits on IBM, Chinese offered, for example, something like 500 plus. So I guess perhaps if something is relevant to national security, this type of resources are not the main decision-making criteria, at least for some nations. This is my humble understanding.
More questions for Mark?
Yeah. So in parts of the hero's journey, you showed a cyber simulator for detecting anomalies. Have you actually tried that out for real with real data sets, or is this just a simulation?
Simulation of what?
Of alerts and data for us.
The Q-SIEM, you mean? Yeah, the Q-SIEM, we have not tested yet for unseen data. Everything we have tested in terms of, this is also the problem of machine learning. In machine learning in general, if this green diamond on the table is our training data, that function that I showed you will learn to predict the blue diamond or the purple diamond, but that information is not sufficient to learn about the whole shape. So there is a problem for machine learning in general that for unseen data, the theory that we develop as function is not generalizable enough. Same is true for quantum machine learning, but we have hope basically because maybe this is not very good for supervised or unsupervised learning, but probably this is giving us a lot of opportunity for reinforcement learning, that we have more computation problem compared to data problem. Because normal computers are very good with low computation and high data volume, but quantum computers are working in other way. They are very good with high computation and low data. So because of those kind of computational models in reinforcement learning, we may have other things that quantum computers can offer. But Q-SIEM as a cyber defense tool at the current time, at least for available data set, could outperform the normal algorithms, and also the time that you will be convinced you need a retraining. And it means that a green diamond is not good enough as a prediction is higher for them, because you have also the possibility to retrain the model And in our here, in our observation, this retraining is needed less because the performance that you can see here is more stable. But always, if this comes from a specific threshold, you can always request a retraining, then a new model will be retrained and deployed on the Q-SIEM side.
Okay, thanks.
I hope I could answer your question.
Hi. So you used the quantum simulators earlier on to generate 2 random quantum seeds. Now, obviously, as it stands just now, a company like Cloudflare is using LavaRand, which is a video representation of lava lamps generating what would be entropy in the real world. How much is it practically inferior to, say, use the lava lamps as a random, particularly if you're using that as an input generator?
That's a very good question. Yeah, truly good question. We also are aware about the UK position about the true random number generators, and I guess from 2020, we have not yet seen that quantum random number generators are a priority for special segments. But also we have observed that IonQ this month or a few months ago closed 2 deals, and they purchased IDQ, which is a quantum random number generator in Switzerland, and also Oxford Ionics for our 1 billion. From that perspective, I guess maybe true random numbers still are possible. What is known and for sure is that we have to be very careful about those random numbers used in post-quantum cryptography. But if this should be a true random number generator, for example, with classic things like lava lamp that you mentioned, or quantum random number is also unknown for us. We just try to see what quantum computers can offer and what is the best technology in terms of number of random numbers that it can generate per second, and also room temperature and portability. And we come to this technology of quantum brilliance, and we made the partnership to test it. So that's our observation. We do not claim that this is the best available solution, but we say that if a system has a strong cryptographic requirements and is in the migration process to post-quantum cryptography, that's one of the solutions that could be tested.
I don't know if you remember the scandal a few years ago with the IOTA cryptocurrency, where they had the online seed generator, where people were using an online generator to generate seeds for their wallets, which ultimately found to be a compromised factor, and people ended up with their wallets drained. Now, there is this element of I don't want to say outsourcing or using a third-party random generation system. The benefit you get from that entropy is almost undermined to a certain degree by the fact you're now involving a third party into your cryptography ecosystem. I'm just wondering how you weigh up the pros and cons of that internal random generation.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you very much. You know, we can talk about 3 different types of random number generators, or 2 types indeed. From the NIST perspective, which also is translated to European standards, we have either deterministic random bit number generators, or this 890A, or we have a proof of source of entropy, which is 890B, or combination of both, which is 890C. So these are the standards. Germany offered another standard called named AIS. This is here, and also US tried to map the AIS and ANSI standards with the NIST standard. This is the other document here. So because you will have the presentations, you can see the details here. There are two different mindsets. Have an HSM with a good seed, for example, from a quantum source, and that HSM, assuming that will offer agility or crypto agility, maintain the randomness and also the cryptographic perimeter for you. That's one approach. The other approach that we tested is to have an embedded implementation and use entropy as a service model, and to avoid man-in-the-middle attack and spoofing of this randomness in between, use Merkle tree on the time of registration of the quantum random number generator for the user. So that's our proposal, that when you make a device and you use it as an entropy as a service, you will receive also a Merkle hash, and you can rely on that. If either of them is good, it's the subject of evaluation, and we, in our agreement, we are open to UK, Germany, Luxembourg, and other European cybersecurity authorities to test and evaluate the goodness of this. Thank you.